All right, I did my evaluation plan on the Working in the Schools organization's Power Lunch program, which I've talked about previously in the past couple classes that we've had. But just an overview again, Working in the Schools is a literacy organization that increases the reading proficiency and learning capacity of low-income and minority students in the Chicago Public Schools. The organization recruits and supports dedicated business, government, and community volunteers who deliver measurable and consistent tutoring and mentoring services. So they do have a couple different programs that they do. The ones that I've talked about in the past were the, oh my gosh, it's escaping me. I've talked so much about it. But the one where they bus the students from their schools to the loop and then from the loop to back to the schools. This program that I'm going to talk about is the Power Lunch program. What it is volunteers come to the CPS schools, which operates in 28 CPS schools. The volunteers come during the lunch hour and they read with the students for 1 hour. This same volunteer follows the student throughout the entire school year, so they actually are given the opportunity to kind of learn and grow with this volunteer and have a mentor. So the synopsis of why I'm doing an evaluation on Power Lunch is that Power Lunch is the newest program that is at WITS. WITS was developed in 1991, and it started with a Saturday tutoring program. This program is about 5 years old. So it hasn't really had a large evaluation plan put in place. In fact, I don't think it's really had a tiny evaluation plan put in place. And this evaluation plan will determine how students involved in the program compare to those not in the program in the areas of academics and their want to read. Something that this program focuses on is 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders' enjoyment of reading. So some of the questions that I want to ask them I will get into with the survey. So why Power Lunch? Power Lunch is the ability to impact influential areas in academia for young at-risk students. So by evaluating the program, it will become clear what aspects of Power Lunch are working and what are not. So my research questions, I'm going to determine whether or not students in the program perform better on standardized testing and whether or not students had an increased enjoyment in their reading. The design I want to do is a control and experiment group, pre-testing and post-testing, so beginning of the school year, mid-school year, end of school year, and in-person interview surveys with both the students and the teachers. And something I'm debating between is actually doing a survey with the volunteers as well to see if they can see a noticeable difference with the students. The control and experiment group, I want to have the way the program works is, say you go into a 3rd grade classroom. That classroom might be participating in the Power Lunch program, but the 3rd grade classroom across the hall might not be participating in the program, just because WITS does not have the capacity to involve all the students in the schools. They don't have enough staff, they don't have enough volunteers, and they don't have enough time. So hopefully what we would be able to do is have one classroom, and I would like to divide them in half so that they have the same teacher. They come from the same, the exact same educational design in their classroom. Have half of them participate in the program, the other half not participate in the program, and then look at their standardized testing, their ISAT testing, and see where they both stand on their reading proficiency scores. And then we would also do a pre-test, post-test with our own test that we've developed. Just a quick survey, basic sentence structure, things like that. And then the in-person interview survey, we want to conduct those with the students, asking them, do you enjoy reading? Do you like to read? Things like that. And then with the teachers, what we want to ask them is, have you seen an increase in reading proficiency in your student? Does your student read during their free time as opposed to drawing? Things like that. The expected results, hope to see an increase in standardized test score and an increase in reading enjoyment. Very basic, but very important. The limitations, the amount of students that we would be able to evaluate may not accurately correspond to the number of CPS students. Of course, there's over 550 CPS schools, and we're only in 28 schools. So if we do test in those schools, how can we really tell what we're doing to the CPS system? And students' honesty, with third, fourth, and fifth graders, it might be hard to get an honest reaction out of them. If you ask them, do you like to read? They might be having a bad day, they might be having a good day. What are they going to tell you? So that's why we also want to interview the teachers as well, so we can see if the teachers are seeing a difference in the students' enjoyment of reading and the students' proficiency. Questions? Yes, Naga.
I was wondering how your sample, because you wanted to differentiate,
Right.
and if you're going to see they have an improvement in their scores, your sample, you're going to have to